Welcome back to Q-Dads, guys. I'm Ben, and yes, today I'll be reviewing this episode, breaking down some of the amazing details, like, was Hober Mallow meant to be on Trantor? This is hands down the best episode of Foundation to date, full of twists, secrets, edge of our seat scenes, and me and Steve have even had some theories proven right, and also wrong. The episode titled The Last Empress starts with Dusk and Rue, as Rue searches for answers in Demerzel's chambers. Here she mentions the first shocking piece of information that the Cloud Dominion can actually restore memories for those who've previously been affected. This means that she knows what happened during their copulation and didn't need to rewatch the footage with Dusk a few episodes ago. Is she lying about this and using it as a tactic to get closer to Dusk and maybe see what he's actually hiding? A chance for him to own up about Demerzel first. Dusk mentions that he recognises the 8 planets in Demerzel's toolbox and starts to inform Rue of the history of robots. Now the first thought here, is this a direct reference to our solar system, implying that the robot war actually started on Earth? Did the war cause the humans in Foundation to leave our solar system due to this? It starts off with the first rule of robotics being broken, which ultimately caused the war. But who caused this war? And why did Demerzel survive? Was she the reason that the war ended? Before Dusk can continue, he notices that the paint doesn't quite sit right in the wall, but is called away to the execution before he even has time to check. We then head over to Ignis, where we learn that me and Steve were right. It was all a dream, and that Gale is alive, and also that she felt the pain of Harry's death, which we're led to believe was real. We've been saying for a few episodes now that something didn't quite seem right about Ignis, and it's been confirmed. But how much of it is still a dream? That is yet to be answered. Tellum truly reveals her intentions about the little boy Josiah. Tellum truly reveals her intentions, but the little boy Josiah notices. This shows that her kind nature isn't what it seems. Did she save these mentalics? Or was that something else that she just portrayed to Sal and Gale? A detail here is that Tellum starts to cough, as she has throughout the series, showing us her weakness of her current state. Is that increased as she uses her power more? And this is obviously some foreshadowing for later on in the episode. We head back to Terminus as the Warden and the residents of the planet all watch the execution in a strange Hunger Games style viewing. Now, for me, this is where the episode solidifies itself as the best Foundation episode to date. Day approaches Polly and Constant as they kneel, ready for the beheading. Day gives a speech about Harry, explaining who he is and his true intentions back in Season 1, before he uses the collar of Typhon, a relic of his ancestors. This device is used to slice through the neck, beheading its victims. In a moment, Day asks Sareth to choose who dies first. Here, I think, is the first moment that Sareth realises his power, as she looks incredibly scared. From this point on, I think that everything she does is in fear and for the fight for survival rather than the vengeance of her family. Brother Constant prays, causing some faith across the planets as Harry predicted. I have a theory on this and how Harry's plan was knocked off course a little bit later towards the end. Then, out of nowhere, Hober Mallow gate crashes the party as he jumps the ship Spirit directly above the execution, causing carnage everywhere. In this moment, everyone is knocked back and things go mental. As Hober shoots the Imperial Guards and searches for Polly and Constant, Dusk reaches for Rue and Dawn reaches for Sareth, showing us the loved up couples of this series. Demerzel obviously protects Day due to his damaged aura, and we get the return of Becky once more as she chases Day and biting him on the arm. This scene was amazing. I was truly on the edge of my seat for this and really wanted a beheading, but from Becky. Unfortunately, we weren't, and Becky was killed, falling to her death after being shot. Let's take a moment for Becky here. Anyway, before I continue with this scene, was the jump ship controlled by Hober, or was it controlled by the prayers and spiritual connection that Constant has? It seems very convenient that as she prayed for the Spirit, a ship also appears, called the Spirit. Hober and Constant escape on the Spirit and end up jumping, but without organic life. Meaning me and Steve were wrong about the organic matter controlling the jump was Becky. However, She-Bends still sits on my mind, meaning something else must be involved. Or maybe we're right and that they had developed the jump technology even further. Day gathers in a safe space with the others and declares that he is going to Terminus and taking Polly with him. In a strange manoeuvre, Sareth agrees and encourages Empire to go to Trantor, which again I think is down to fear, not vengeance. Or maybe Sareth's plans to take on Trantor while Day's away, putting Dawn on the throne. We head over to Ignis, where we get more twists and another confirmation of me and Steve being right, as Sal is confirmed to be alive. She's tied up in a prison, as was Gale. After a brief conversation with Josiah, she realises that she has the Prime Radiant, and has done all along. In a surprising move, she enters the Radiant and meets Harry from the vault. Harry starts talking to himself, and in a hilarious way too. Watching him debate with himself is brilliant. We get to see a real different side to Harry for a moment, but he delivers the best line by far.
Is doing fuck. I'm the left hand.
Does the conversation with himself alter the fate of the Second Foundation? As the other Harry did mention, they should never know that they are the Control Foundation, and the potential start of the Second Crisis, with both of them trying to use their best choice of words. Here, Polly says violence is the last refuge of the incompetent, in which Day responds, "You're right about that," and gives an almost glimpse of madness, a man on a mission without a reason. We head back to Ignis as Harry comes out of the Radiant and explains the devices are encephalic sensors, which use frequency to block her powers. A nod back to when Sal was told she was on a different frequency. Then, in a shocking twist, it is revealed that Sal was in fact the passing ghost and told Harry about Hober Mallow. This caused him to write the name down and ultimately appear on the vault. It's worth mentioning here too that Sal asked Harry about the fate of Terminus and didn't answer. Does this mean Sal travels through time and speaks to a past version of Harry? Or more likely, we've been misdirected for the whole season and the events happening with Sal and Gale are actually in the past. Which does make me think that we'll be seeing Sal and Gale return to Terminus in episode 9 or 10. For a quick moment, we see Constant and Hober as they have sex. Yes, that's right. Not only have they finally had sex, but they also made the theory of them being the Mule's parents more plausible. Again, another prediction of ours. Now we know the Mule is after Hober Mallow to kill him, but what if he's actually just looking for him to be reunited with his father? As Hober Mallow started the war, maybe Empire or Foundation locked him away. Dusk and Rue head back to the paint, only to discover that the painting is hiding a doorway with a long winding staircase. Dawn and Sareth get it on, again, and also ask the question about who Demerzel actually serves. Sal exits the prison she was kept in by adjusting the frequency, and Gale is held down to the table, ready for the ritual. Pelham explains that every 7 years or so, she finds another young girl to replace her, as she transfers her mind into a new youthful body. She claimed that she implanted the thought of her being special into Gale's mind over a century ago, making Gale actually question her own wit and integrity. As Pelham uses whistles to tune their minds together, I still question if this scene is actually part of a dream and if Gale is actually still inside the prison. Now, we've banged on about the Mule being a possible child or a few people, but what about if the Mule is actually Pelham? As she's already said that she swaps bodies, hence why she didn't seem that bothered by him. The episode ends with the biggest cliffhanger ever, as it's revealed that Demerzel only serves the first Cleon, as she will always be Cleon's first Empress, again referencing the title of the episode. And he did say he thought that maybe Cleon did make her in the Empress's image. Could we also be about to see a robot version of Cleon the First? But wow, oh wow, what an episode this was. So much to discuss. One of the biggest things I question is that was Hober Mallow meant to show up at the execution? As we know now that Sal influenced the name to an earlier version of Harry. Did Harry send Hober to the Spacers in a previous episode to get him further away from the execution? There was a moment that Constant was creating and everyone started to feel for her like they did with Katniss Everdeen in Hunger Games. Was Constant supposed to die and therefore spread the message of the teachings of Harry even further? The fact she survived has potentially brought on the Mule, something Harry didn't predict. It's fair to say Hober Mallow gate crashing the event has clearly changed things. And what will happen with Demerzel? Will she find out about Dusk and Dawn? Will she kill them all and decant other ones, or will they get to her first? And finally, Day heading directly to Terminus. Could Harry have ever predicted this? Day even says that he wants to talk, not go straight to war. In some weird way, could Day actually be about to follow some of Harry's teachings in an attempt to save the whole Imperium? Well, let me know in the comments what you thought of this amazing episode. Was Hober Mallow meant to jump to Trantor? And will Sal save Gale in time? Join me and Steve in a few days as we dive even deeper into this episode in our weekly cast. And, as always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time with something new.